And we come to the mid-session interval at John Parott leading 8 frames to 4.
So John's lead increased there. We've got to ask, though, what sort of effect that missed ball incident has had on Tony Knowles' mind, and did it affect him in any way, losing that next frame. It's the second time this week Glenn Ganley's been involved in a controversial refereeing incident. The first one, of course, in the match between Mick Price and Dennis Taylor. John Virgo, you saw the incident there. We'll just recap on it. Let's just have a look at the situation as we saw it. Now, this was the first ball.
Yeah, and it's noticeable there.
Foul stroke, 6.
That John Parott couldn't get his hand on the table. The white finished roughly near the black spot. But if you watch the second time that after the balls are replaced, he can get his hand on the table. I'm not saying he couldn't see the same amount of the brown.
Yes.
But anyone who plays snooker will tell you that if you can get your hand on the table, it's a lot easier to get the bit of side he needed.
There's Len repositioning the ball this time. Not where it was the first time.
And if you see John, although John's only concerned of how much of the brown he could see, that's fair comment. But if you watch now, John can put his hand on the table, which he didn't on the first attempt.
Okay, let's just see when he tees himself up for this one.
There you go. His full hand's on the table. Before, there was no way, because that white was a lot closer to this top cushion. But this is the problem of the miss. It is the referee who's got to try and put the balls back where they were. They don't obviously have the advantage of looking at a picture like that. But Len Ganley there has made an error, and it looks like it's cost Tony Knowles that frame.
Yeah, and Tony, obviously, it did affect him. He wasn't too happy. He was looking to discuss it with Len. So there's no recourse there. What is the situation for Tony? I mean, the referee's decision's final, presumably.
Well, absolutely. And I mean, once the situation's gone, I mean, as I say, they don't have the benefit of replays. But Len Ganley, as all referees, if they're going to give these misses, they've got to be certain where those balls are, because that's just cost Tony Knowles the frame. And I cast no aspersions on John Parott. He was only concerned of how much the brown he could hit. But as I've said, it's a lot easier to put side on a ball when you can get your hand on the table, and the first time he couldn't do that.
Well, just to put it definitely into context, lay it to rest, we can actually see the first position and the second position.
There you see his hand.
There is the first position. And here is the second position, and interestingly enough, Tony Knowles, who's out on his coffee break, is watching that over from the practice table. So and there's the first position again. It's not the same. It's not the same. Okay, that's the TV evidence, but as we say, maybe rather unfairly, the referee's decision is final, isn't it?
Absolutely, because we don't have a recourse replay. I mean, I'll see Manchester United score a lot of goals that have been disallowed.
Unfortunately, we do not see Manchester United scoring enough goals these days, John, as we know. But just a word about Tony. He's got to get that out of his mind, presumably. Yeah,
well, Tony's been going through a rough time already. I mean, there was 2 frames last night which he could have felt entitled to win. He's come back today. He was unlucky to lose one. That was such a big frame to go to 6-5, and he's playing well. And of course, I mean, how much of the stuff in that will knock out of Tony now? But he's got to forget it. Yeah. That's the way it is. He's playing well, and he still could be in the match as long as he can put it out of his mind.
Yeah, as you say, he hasn't been playing too badly. Okay, we'll be rejoining that match. John, thank you very much indeed for your thoughts there on that. But starting out also this afternoon on table 2. Yes, it was table 2. Yes, it was table 2, just checking these tables about here. Neil Foulds and Terry Griffiths embarking on their first match in the second round. Let's just fill you in on the players themselves. At 28, Neil Foulds, ranked 6th in the world, though he has been number 3 in his time. Been a pro for 9 years, but really lacks titles to his name. A semi-finalist, as you can see there, at the 1987 World Championship. Over the careers, Foulds and Griffiths met 12 times. The honours are shared, 6 wins apiece. Terry Griffiths, now from talking to him this morning, he's very aware that at 44, he's now the oldest man left in the tournament. He's in good spirits though, and the first round win over Bob Chaperon has secured him a place in the top 8 rankings for next year, and that's up at least 3 places on his current position. Terry, former world champion, of course. Okay, now we're going to take this one right from the start. Frame 1, not a lot to choose between the 2 players. We'll take it right from the break off. Your commentators for this one, Jack Carnham and John Spencer.
First frame, Terry Griffiths to break.